Well, hey everybody, welcome to Poor Man's Kitchen. Today we're going to be making some more watermelon jelly. We've made quite a bit already. We had a good harvest of watermelons, so we've been making a lot of watermelon jelly. But so I thought we'll go ahead and film this today, show you what we do. We've got these nice little jars here that the wife found at the thrift store. I had to buy the lids for them. We have some that use the regular ball lids on them, but these use a lug lid, and it's a 70-2030 lug lid. So if you have any of these jars that have the lug type, you can tell because they have 4 little screw threads on them, and your ball lid won't fit on them. I'll have a link to where I bought these. You may find them cheaper, I don't know, but I bought where I bought these, so I'll do that. So we're going to be making some more watermelon jelly today. All right, I had said that the wife was in there cooking the watermelon, and I'll clarify that. She was in there smashing it up to get the juice out of it. What we do is we cube the watermelon up, we put it in a container. She's got some metal like baking, or those metal containers that you would put into a steam table, and like this, it's a steam table type deal. This is what she's got. And if you got one of these, it works pretty good. If you fill this up pretty full with watermelon, smash it up, and it will make just about 4 cups on the button every time. And we just use a potato smasher. I mean, you can use a food processor, whatever you want, but that's what we use. So what we got in here, we got 4 cups of watermelon juice. Now, I already know what all I need to put in here to get the pH right, but for the sake of this video, we're going to go through this again. Now, I use a pH meter. Anytime we do anything new, jelly concoction, I always run through the pH routine to make sure that we've got a low enough pH to make jelly. So turn my pH meter on, and I always like to swish it in water, clean water, to make sure it's neutralized. I'm going to put this down in the jelly, and we're going to see that this particular, not the jelly, but the watermelon juice, we're going to see this particular watermelon juice is at 5.2, 5.3. Sometimes it's a little bit lower. It depends on the actual watermelon. So we need to get this down. What we're going to do, we're going to add, to start with, 1/2 cup of lemon juice in here. And we're going to stir that in. Get that stirred up really good. And what we're looking for, we want to get down to about 3.2 or lower is where we want to go. So we're going to turn our pH meter back on, and we're going to drop it down in here, and we're at 3.4. So I'm going to add a couple of dashes of lemon juice. I need to get the lemon juice here. I'm going to bring it down. I want it down at least 3.2. So a couple little glugs there of the lemon juice. Now the pectin will bring it down some, but I like to get this down to pretty close to 3.2. You can go ahead and wait till you put the pectin in, because the pectin sometimes will lower it. Yep, turn it on. Right at 3.3. I'm going to leave it there, see what happens when the pectin goes in. Now, you can add sugar in with the pectin to help it not clump. I just get over here and start stirring and gently put it in a little at a time while I'm stirring. This keeps it from lumping up. Like I said, if you want, you can mix some sugar in with it, about the same amount as the pectin. Now this is 3.5 ounces of pectin, and I'll show you what we use here in a minute. Using the Sure Jell is an option, but it's fairly expensive. And like I said, I'll show you what we use here in a minute. It's a brand, I'm going to probably tear this name apart. It's Sure Jell's Farm Pectin. We buy it in 2-pound bags, get it off of Amazon, and if you just do a one-time purchase, it's like $23 and something for it. If you do a subscription, which we do, we get it for like $20. And the subscription from Amazon doesn't cost anything, so it's just you're telling them you're going to buy more and more, so they give you a better price on it. So we got this all stirred in, no clumps, everything else. Now, like I said, I was going to show you what we use here. It's called Sure Jell Farm, I believe is what it is. Let me hold it up to this camera. Sure Jell Farms Pectin, and it's a lot cheaper. I'll actually throw up the differences. I'll take I'll get some prices of Pectin from Walmart against this, and I'll tell you the differences. So I'll throw that up in the video. So now we've got our watermelon juice in there, our lemon juice, and our Pectin. And we want to check the pH. Now, if you want to get a pH meter, I'll have a link to this below. We're at 3.1. Perfect. So, like I said, the goal is to be, in my opinion, below 3.2. If your pH is too high, the Pectin will not set. There's a couple of things that will make Pectin not set. pH too high, temperature that you cook it at too low, not long enough, or temperature that you cook it at too high. The target you want to try to get to is as close to 220 degrees you can. You don't want to get up about 230 or something. You start killing the Pectin probably up in that point. Although I've never found any documentation that says what the high temperature Pectin can take. I do know if you get it too hot, it will kill it and your jelly won't gel. If you don't get it hot enough, it won't gel correctly. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and start. We use a New Wave because our regular cooktop is a coil cooktop, and you can't adjust the temperature just right. I've got my Tomasi. This is actually my grill thermostat that I use when we're grilling, and I've got it on there. I've got it stuck down in there. Now what will happen, this will come up to a degree, and then once this stuff starts foaming, it won't read above because there's too much air in the foam. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and kick this on high and start it. And I will bring you back when we get close to this. Alright, I want to go ahead real quick though before we get out of here while we're waiting on this to heat up, and go over how I measured it out. I've got just one of these little kitchen scales. I'll put a link to where you can get these. You can get them anywhere. You can get them off Amazon, whatever else, but I'll put a link in the description below where you can go get them. But this is one I've had for quite a while. It's, you know, it goes to like 11 pounds total, but I got it set on ounces. What I do, I turn it on, let it come up and do its little thing, and then when it zeros, then I go ahead and set a bowl on top, and then once that's finished, I zero it out. Then I start with putting a tablespoon. I keep putting the Pectin in there till I get to right around 3.5 ounces. So that's how I measure this Pectin out. Alright, we just crossed across 203 degrees, and so like I said, what we're going to try to go up to is see what we get when we come up and starts boiling. Like I said, it's not going to show up to 220 on here because once it starts doing a rolling boil, there's a lot of air that gets introduced into it, and so it kind of insulates it a little bit from reading the true temp. Now there may be a thermometer that can read it. We're at 210. We ought to start. We're starting to boil. 214. Now, I've got my timer here set for 1 minute. I'm doing a rolling boil right now. I'm going to go ahead and start it. Like I said, the thermometer came up to 214 and kind of rocking back and forth between 214 and 212. Although we know the temperature is hotter in there. But like I said, when you get this foam, it acts like a slight insulation on your temperature probes. Now other jellies, the mixes won't foam as much, and you may get a closer reading, but the watermelon will. Might have better luck with the regular candy thermometer in there than this. I don't know. I can't read it when it's in there, so that's why I've got these going. Got about 14 seconds left, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to turn the new wave off. Right now I'm going to drop it to medium high, and then alright, I'm going to turn it off, and now we're going to add the sugar in there. And there again, same thing, stirring it while we go in. Now the sugar will cool it back off again. And once we get all the sugar back in there, we're going to bring it back up to a rolling boil. And like I said, you know, the ideal temp is around 220. You know, if you got a better way to measure it, you know, like I said, I can't read a regular bulb type candy thermometer down there, so because it's down, the temperature is actually down below, and I'm looking down on it, so I'm not getting a close read on it. But now, like I said, you want to constantly stir that. So what we're going to do, we're going to start this back up, kick it back up on the high temp, and I like to pretty much keep stirring once the sugar's in there so that we don't have sugar settle out and burn on the bottom until it's all dissolved in there. We do, you know. So we've dropped down to 165 degrees in there. We want to, like I said, bring that temperature back up. And this time we're going to bring it back up to a rolling boil again. We're going to time it again for 1 minute. Now, if you don't have a thermometer to put in there, you can probably get away with just using the rolling boil. Start doing it. What I would suggest you do is, once it comes to a rolling boil, back the heat down or temperature down or the setting down on your stove or cooktop just a little bit, and as long as it's maintaining that rolling boil, and that will help keep you from overshooting the temperature and end up killing the pectin, or having it break down is a more accurate term. So we don't want to do that. And right now we're at 181. Now we're at 214, and you probably, I don't know if you've seen it before, just now starting to kind of boil, not a rolling boil yet. Once you put the sugar in there, it raises the boiling point a little bit. We're 217, 219. Drop back down because we got the foam. We got to 219, so we were at 220, a rolling boil. I started my timer again. I'm going to go ahead and kick this down to medium high. And if it loses its rolling boil, I'll kick it back up to high. So one thing I like about the new wave, I can instantly change the temperature on it by just hitting a button. And like I said, we're running around 219, 217, what it's reading in there. And you know, close enough to 220 that we want to be. Like I said, a regular candy thermometer probably would read this a little bit better. Because of the foam, it's not reading as good as it should. Alright, 10 seconds left, and then we're going to put this thing on pause. And then we'll go put it in the jars. Alright, it's done cooking. So I'm going to keep stirring while the foam comes down. And I'll pull my thermometer out of there, and we'll carry this in there, and we'll put it in the jars inside the kitchen. Alright, we're here in the kitchen. Now we've had these jars, these are the screw lug jars. We've had these jars in the oven, preheating up to 250 degrees in the oven. You want them hot, because you're going to be putting some really hot liquid in here. You cook them, heat them up to 250, sterilizes them, and also it keeps them fairly warm hot by the time you get the jelly in there. And what he's doing right now, she's skimming off the foam and stuff on top, because you really don't want that in your jelly. Now typically this makes right at 4 pints. It's been fairly consistent with it. Now this is 4 pints with it filled up, the jar's filled up where you would normally fill up with your 1-inch headspace.
Put it down on the thing, I can't reach that high. Remember, I'm shorter than you.
Yeah.
A little bit. Like a foot. This is what I did the last one.
Yeah.
And we're there. I got a little bit, but I'm going to put it in other jars.
Put it in other ones. Looks like you're a little low on that one and that one in the back. The other ones, yeah. You can put it in the other ones.
It ain't going to go to waste. And we got our 4 pints.
Okay, there's our 4 pints again. Now we're going to wipe these off with a wet paper towel. Make sure we didn't leave any sticky juice on the rim. And now I'm going to get the lug lids out. Get them all started first. Well, I gotta have towels to tighten them with.
Yeah,
So snug them down fairly good, because we're not going to hot water bath these. With the lug lids, you don't hot water bath, and we don't really hot water bath any of our jellies. In the old days, you know, when my mom and grandma and them all used to make jelly, we would use paraffin to seal because you put the jelly in and you pour hot paraffin over it and it'd seal it up. Alright, so anyway, we got all these tightened up, and we're going to turn them over, and we're going to time that for 5 minutes. This helps heat the lid up. It also, in case there was any germs in the air on the top, it takes care of killing all them out. I doubt that's much to worry about. Alright, so we'll come back when our 5 minutes is about up. Alright, we got 10 seconds to go on our time of 5 minutes upside down. And then we're going to turn these back over, cover them up with a towel, and let them sit. There's our time. I'll get my towel because I don't have a glove, and get them hold of the handle and start turning them over. And there we go. So I'm going to cover those up. We'll let them sit overnight. Anyway, thanks for joining, everybody. Hopefully you will subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. We're going to be doing a lot of more stuff on this channel, so if you stayed this long, here, listen to me request that you subscribe. We'll appreciate it. Thank you.